What do lawmakers say? How do they justify continuing the standoff? One of those 5 service members killed, as we've reported, was from Wisconsin. And joining me now is Wisconsin Republican Congressman Sean Duffy, a member of the House Committee on the Budget. Congressman, I'm not ascribing blame any place other than to the entire system here. How do you respond to the mother of Corporal Collins?
First off, my heart and prayers go out to the families who have lost loved ones in battle. And I'm so grateful for the ultimate sacrifice these young individuals have made on behalf of our country. As we've talked this morning, we are going to work through this week a mini CR that would help with this funding. Duncan Hunter, as you mentioned, had indicated that this is in the discretion of the government. If they disagree, we will work this week to make sure this funding...
The Pentagon disagrees with that.
Right. So if they disagree, we'll work through a mini CR that will take care of these families who have lost loved ones. That is not the intent.
I mean, the larger point, though, Congressman Duffy, is these mini CRs, mini continuing resolutions, that's the whole question of, you know, taking little pieces of the government. The issue is not that this is a small matter, it's a very big matter, but so is the matter of the kids in Head Start. So is the problem of the single moms who aren't getting food stamps and aren't getting their help. You know, so down the road are the survivors' benefits, and that fund is going to run out in weeks, if not months. So you can't take this piecemeal, Congressman. You know, isn't the issue that someone has to sit down and figure out what to do about the stalemate that has led to this disgrace?
You hit the nail on the head. I mean, and the president has said, I won't sit at the table. Harry Reid said, I won't negotiate.
He said to the Speaker today on the phone, according to the White House,
I won't negotiate.
He said that he will negotiate, and negotiate a lot of things that you all want, tax reform, entitlements, that he will negotiate once the threat of the government shutdown and of the debt default is not hanging over their heads. That's what he said.
Andrea, that's ridiculous. And I don't know, I mean, I think you said you've been through 18 shutdowns. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen a president that has come and said, I'm not going to negotiate. I mean, this is historic that a president says, I'm not going to sit at the table. As a guy that's the 10th of 11 kids, families work through problems by talking and communicating. So too does the government. And you're well aware that all we've asked for is that the president and the administration join us in Obamacare, the American people and Congress, and that individuals and families be treated just like big business. That's what they're holding out for. And I mean, even this morning,
that's a non-negotiable demand. Why not sit down and negotiate over entitlement reform, which is something that you all have been demanding, and that he has offered in his initial budget? You're putting on the table a non-negotiable demand.
Listen, is it not negotiable that he's not going to enter Obamacare and he's going to say, I get my gold-plated health care plan, but I want members of Congress and the rest of America to be in Obamacare? That's not negotiable? Come on. That's not reasonable. I mean, one issue that we have is the media won't even ask the question about why are you treating families different than big businesses? You need Jon Stewart on Comedy Central to ask Secretary Sebelius, hey, why won't you treat these two equally? And she can't answer it. I mean, that's how pathetic I think news reporting has become when we won't ask tough questions to the administration.
Well, we've asked questions to both sides. That's not fair.
Do you ask that question, Andrea?
We have asked that question, and so the basic point is
why do you want your own health care and you won't join us in Obamacare? That question I haven't seen anybody ask on MSNBC. Please ask it, because they don't have a good answer for it.
Well, I think the response that Kathleen Sebelius gave to Jon Stewart was, if we had gotten what we wanted, which was a single-payer plan, this wouldn't be the problem.
That's right. You say, I think this is what they would say, but you don't know what they would say because you haven't asked. And that's one of the problems we have here. But I think in regard to negotiating issues, Andrea, I think we can sit at the table and go, okay, well, if these ones are off the table, what is on the table, Mr. President, as we move towards the debt limit negotiation? And he would say, well, let's talk. Maybe it's going to be entitlement reform. Maybe it's tax reform. We'll have all those conversations, but when he says, you have to give me what I want, I'm not going to talk to you, I think America looks at that and goes, I understand there's divided government, people are hard on both sides, but I expect them to talk to each other and work through their differences and make it work. That's not happening now, Andrea.
With all due respect, this is about military death benefits to kids, to 19-year-old kids who have died in Afghanistan and who are not returning home. This is about what their families are entitled to by law and what they are not getting.
And
This
I
is
just
not
told you that
about
we're going to move.
what you want on Obamacare, and it's not what the president wants on the debt ceiling.
Don't spin that on me. I just told you at the top of our segment that we're going to pass a mini CR to address those benefits. We're going to look out for our military, especially those families who have made the ultimate sacrifice. We are going to do that, and we're going to do it this week. So you were asking me about the larger issue of why can't people resolve this government shutdown? And we have been incredibly reasonable, making a small ask. And if the president doesn't like what we've...
that he get rid of the central part of his health care plan that was upheld by the vote of a presidential election and the United States Supreme Court.
Andrea, hold on, that's your spin. The president gave a one-year exemption for, he gave a one-year exemption for businesses in regard to taxes and penalties in Obamacare. Everyone still can go into the exchange if they want, but they're not penalized in big business if they don't go in. We've said, for the individuals, for the families, if they want to go into Obamacare, they can, but if they don't, for 1 year, don't tax them or penalize them, just like the way you're treating big businesses. That is fair under the law. That's all we've asked for. He's won the debate, Andrea. The exchanges are up and kind of running. There's subsidies out there. This is a small ask going equity and equality under the law for individuals and families, just like big business. And why won't he join us in Obamacare? Why wasn't Michelle Obama on October 1st at the computer with her family signing up for Obamacare? Or Jay Carney? They have their own gold-plated health care plan that they're in, and they don't. No, I'm not. I'm in Obamacare. I'm in Obamacare, Andrea. All members of Congress are in my family. The president should join us in Obamacare and the rest of America. Is that pretty reasonable? We should all be treated equally under the law? Why should members of Congress be in Obamacare, not the president? Explain that one. Isn't that fair?
Well, I think that
can you defend that? Can you defend why the president shouldn't be in Obamacare like members of Congress and their staffs?
I can't defend why the Congress and the White House cannot figure out a way to reopen the government so that our kids and their families can get the benefits that they have been.
And I told you we're going to do that this week. But I want your viewers to know that this has been a reasonable approach on our part to go everyone equal under the law, the president and Congress and Obamacare. It's good. If it's good for America, it's good enough for the people who passed the law. And individuals for 1 week, for 1 year, being treated like big businesses who came to this Hill with their lobbyists and got an exemption to the taxes and requirements of Obamacare. Give that same treatment to the families in America. And again, this has nothing to do with the exchanges being open or the subsidies in the exchanges. We're not having any impact on those. They get to stand up and run. We're just saying treat individuals and families like big business and have Obama go into Obamacare. That's it. No one's asked that question but Jon Stewart. I think the media should start doing its job.